everyone, and welcome back to my Become Unstoppable series. Now, today's a little bit different because I have my lovely client Jim here with us. So this is actually a client testimonial unstoppable story. So before we get started, Jim, would you like to introduce yourself and let everybody know what it is you do?
I'm Jim, I'm 53, and I'm a tax advisor for my sins.
And what does that mean?
It means I help people get their tax liabilities correct and meet their compliance requirements. I sit on the enjoyment scale somewhere between the dentist and a lawyer in terms of how pleasurable people come to find it coming to see me. But yeah, that's generally it. I deal with people, self-employed landlords, people like that, company owners, and help them with their tax, meet their compliance, and try and save some money along the way.
Amazing. So people should love you even more than what they currently do, don't they?
They
'Cause
should. They don't often do.
they don't often, because it's all about saving money, isn't it?
It is ultimately.
Yes, ultimately. So, those who don't know me, my name is Julie, and I'm the founder of Millieside Therapy and Coaching. And my passion is many things, really, but it is helping people like the lovely Jim here to uncover their stress, their anxiety, lack of confidence. But we also do all psychological and physical conditions because it's about finding everything from the root cause. So I see things, when I see people, I see all these things happening up here, but basically we funnel them down and it all comes down to the same place. It comes back to being you, back to us to reset and rise, really. And I use that with my formula, which I've now called my identity box. So it's all about finding what's going on inside ourselves, the shadows that we're holding, the beliefs, the negative feelings, negative emotions, so that we can become truly unstoppable, which is where we are right now, Jim. So, as you know, I do ask all my guests, what does being unstoppable mean to you? So, what does it mean to you, my love?
It means feeling like you can run through walls. It means feeling that when a problem comes up, it doesn't hit me in the stomach like a rock, and I fold around it and then roll onto the floor into a fetal ball and lay there for hours worrying. It means I take that and I catch it and I run with it and I deal with the problem there and then, and I don't let it affect me. But it also extends into other things like being able to sleep properly, not feeling stressed all the time, and just feeling like you can cope with anything that life's going to throw at you.
That's really good. So, the examples that you gave there, actually, I was thinking to myself, well, they're very familiar from what we were working with you on, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, can you just give the viewers an idea, really, about what was going on for you? Make sure you stay forward because we keep losing your face. As gorgeous as it is, we need to see your face.
Computer decides to blur it out.
Yeah, no, we don't want to blur you out.
The AI.
We'll put an AI face on you afterwards. That's fine.
Yes, that'd be fun.
Um, that's another story. That's really scary nowadays, isn't it? But yeah, so sorry. So going back to your becoming unstoppable part, can you just give the listeners an idea about why you needed help and how you came about finding me?
I'd been suffering from stress and anxiety for a couple of years, probably 2, 3 years. Um, Going back into the depths of lockdown, I was under an awful lot of pressure from work. Then personal things happened. There was sort of a catalogue of events, and it felt like I never really managed to deal with those. And I was sort of dragging everything along behind me, just trying to sort of carry on to some indeterminate point at
Mm,
which I thought it would all magically dissipate and go away. And that point never seemed to come. The stresses and the anxiety and the baggage just got worse and worse and worse. It was building up and up and up, and my normal processes for dealing with these things weren't really working. And my internal, what I would call my drill instructor mode, was screaming at me to take the next step and keep going. And I just got to the point where I felt I couldn't anymore. I lost my job in April, and really that was at the point over the Easter weekend. I just felt the lowest probably I'd ever been in my entire life.
mm.
Didn't feel like I had the motivation to go on. Didn't feel like I had the tools to go on, and didn't feel like there was any green shoots that would, there was no light at the end of the tunnel or anything like that. I just felt like I was doomed. Basically, I was completely in a negative down spiral.
Yeah. And what I find amazing about hearing that, because I'm sure people will resonate a lot with that, and that's not the amazing part, sorry, I didn't really word that very clearly, but what I think is amazing is the fact that even though you felt you were pretty much the lowest that you could go, you still found something to say, no, I'm not having this. I'm gonna search for someone to help me. So where did that come from?
I was just laying in bed about 3 o'clock in the morning with things ticking round and round in my head, and I just thought I need to go and um, know that I've got an out basically now. So I think I got up and went on the computer and searched Google, and I found Julie, and I think I probably phoned you about, I don't know, I think it was maybe 7 or 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, or maybe the bank holiday morning or something like that over Easter weekend. So anyway, I got in contact. It was just a case of at that point, I just needed to know that there would be some light coming. At the cavalry was going to arrive. I was reaching out for help. I'd taken that first step
Mm,
towards finding somebody, and it was just important for me to do it that day, even if it was at between 3:30 and 6:30 on a Sunday morning. It was important for my mental state at that point to know that I could, that I had something coming along that would hopefully help,
mm.
and
And
did.
I think that's important, isn't it? Because if you hadn't have done it that day, do you think maybe you wouldn't have done and you would have just carried on kind of suffering?
I don't know how I would have gone on another 24 hours feeling like that and feeling that desperate. To be honest,
Mm,
it was a popping point.
mm. And as I say, I think that will resonate with a lot of people. It's that acknowledgement, isn't it, that you do need help. But I think more importantly, and this is why I love what I do, which we'll go into in a little bit more detail shortly, but many of the clients that I've seen and helped have tried many other different forms. Um, Now, I want to state here that I'm not slating any other forms because I was a talking therapist, so I know I help people. But since I've grown it in the way I work with the subconscious mind, I know that I can get way more powerful results than I ever could do in that forum.
Yeah,
So this isn't for the faint-hearted, is it? This is for people who are really ready for change and are ready to go for it because you do have to still do the work.
you've got to
Although
commit.
I can
You
help
can't just
you,
dip your toe in the water with this and then think, oh, okay, that's fine. I'll walk away. There's a process that you need to go through,
yeah.
and it's very much worth it.
Mm. And I and we can get results really quickly. So when when I meet with my clients for the first time, we spend the first session really getting a grips to what's really going on, don't we? Getting a bit more
Yeah.
of the story. We
Hmm.
probably spend about an hour and a half or so doing that. And we're also working on what it is or sorry, planning on what we're going to work on in what I call my deep dive session. So that session is really important because we use measuring tools as well, don't we? So that we can see afterwards
Yeah.
where you are. But it also helps you to uncover and realize actually that it isn't your fault, it's your programming. And this is what message I want to get across to anybody that hasn't worked on themselves and done some deep work in their subconscious mind. I'm not giving you an excuse to not take responsibility for your life, but what I am telling you is you're running your life on out of date wiring. And that's exactly what yours was as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Jim
Yeah.
is not going to go through tell us any secrets of what happened in his session because that is between him and I. But just suffice to know that it normally always goes back to childhood, doesn't it? Or might be some more recent stuff, but predominantly it will go back to childhood. And yours did too, didn't it? I mean, you don't
Yeah.
have to divulge any secrets, but what kind of realizations did you get when we went in the hypnosis and we went back to when your anxiety and stress first become an issue?
I think, as you say, it surprised me that you think of recent events as being the things that influence you the most, but it's probably events that are actually the furthest from you now that have actually, they're the events by which you set your building blocks. The early events that you had in your life, they're the events by which you set up your store on how you would deal with future events
Mm,
and how you configure dealing with future events. And because you're young when that happens, that's probably not necessarily right. It works at the time, but it's not necessarily right as you go on into adult life. It can, 6 degrees of separation early on can mean you're way wider the
mm,
mark later where you need to be. And I
yeah,
think that the things that I'd been through up to this point, as I say, I sort of dealt with them and I'd got through them. So my attitude tends to be if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. But at the same time, you do actually have to get through that thing, um, which was the problem that I was having.
yeah, and I think that's the biggest issue that most of us try to do. And trust me, I was guilty of this up until a few years ago when I started having my eyes open to all of this. It's the fact that, you know, I spent 35 years in the corporate, bang, 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 thought I could sort everything, just think my way out of everything. But
Yep.
actually you can't, can you? And
No.
this is why we end up with psychological and physical conditions. It's because we are not feeling, which means we're not being present. So, and this is what I teach all my clients, it's about being in the present moment. And when you're in the present moment, you can start listening to your body, and then you can start getting these downloads, and then you can start finding out things that you didn't even know you needed to find out. And it's
Yep.
about feeling the emotion and processing. Because when we don't and we go, oh no, you know, I'll ignore that feeling,
Hmm.
then what happens is we either repress it, suppress it, or we go, or really, we go into escapism. And that's when it
Yep.
gets dangerous, right? Because that's when we get into drinking too much, maybe
Yep.
smoking, drugs, abusing our bodies in some shape or form, whether that's eating too much,
Yep.
not enough, whether
Hmm.
it's scrolling, but it's anything to avoid
Yeah.
feeling the feeling, right?
Hmm.
Was that you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And as a result of that, that kind of impacted your sleep as well, didn't it? Because your mind was
Yeah,
always
it was almost
reacting,
like
wasn't
sleep was just a temporary thing that I did from about, 10 or 11 till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I'd be awake from there, even thinking or worrying about things and stuff like that. And it'd been like it for a long time. I just couldn't get back to sleep. Wasn't sleeping well at night. And again, that's something that we sort of dealt with in the sessions. And that's been, I mean,
it?
fantastic since I'm sleeping like a teenager. I'm probably sleeping too much now, to be honest.
Oh, bless you. So you've gone from not sleeping enough to sleeping way too much.
I think one day last week, I woke up at 4 minutes past 8. And that's just, I probably haven't done that since I was about 15.
Did you get all excited?
No, I was disappointed. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing laying in bed till this late? But
Oh,
no,
bless you.
again, it's nice because I'd woken up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, put the cat out or whatever, and then gone back to sleep, and I couldn't do that before. So my
Amazing.
brain is definitely much more at rest in the evenings and at night.
I mean, that's gold in its own, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't beat a good night's
Just
sleep.
to be able to sleep.
I had a client in this week, and I've been dealing with him for about 7 or 8 years, and I said to him, "You look amazing, Darren." I said, "Yeah," but he said, "I've just relaxed from work." He said, "And I've actually started sleeping through the night." He said, "That's the first time I've done it in about 20 years." And I said, "You do. You look fantastic." I said, "You've always looked like a cold spring when you turned up in the office, completely wasted and stuff like that." I said, "You look really relaxed. You've been on holiday." And he says, "Just because I can sleep now." He said, "I'm just not, I'm not doing so much
Mm.
work." And so it does make a huge difference to your whole life. I think sleep. You don't realise it.
Well, sleep when you're asleep, that's when your body's healing. That's where it
Mm.
does all its work. And if you're in that constant not sleeping motion, then potentially that's when, you're going to get more illness as well because your body's not having a chance to calm itself down. It's not having a
Mhm.
chance to heal and regenerate, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, if you think about it, I mean, obviously they wouldn't do things like this now, but when they want to torture people, what do? They deprive them of
Yeah.
sleep, don't they? And
Yep.
then they wait until they've got less and less and less and less
Mm.
sleep, and then they cry like a baby, right?
Yeah. It takes 48 hours, 36, 48 hours, and you'll pretty much confess to anything.
Yeah, and you'll hallucinate,
Yep.
you'll make terrible decisions,
Mhm.
or not be able to make decisions, and that's not good for anyone, is it? And then you become
No.
snappy,
Yep.
irritable,
Well,
and
when
if
you cause yourself more worry, which causes you less time, causes you more anxiety, so you're not sleeping again, and
yeah,
it's just a vicious cycle. So,
yeah. In one of my training pro things I've done once actually, I've have like it starts with a thought, feeling, emotion, behavior, and all of that, right? So if you
mhm.
haven't slept, and I've done this before, and my husband called me out on it. I don't say it now because I know where you tell me off, but I don't really think like that anymore so much anyway. But the first thing I would do, I'd wake up in the morning, ironically, and go, oh, that was another crap night's sleep I had last night. Great. Am I going to get through the day today? Oh my God, I'm going to be too tired to go and do any exercise. I'm too tired to cook. I'm too, da, 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 da. And as soon as you wake up in the morning with that thought,
You've written off the whole day. You may as well just take a tranquilizer and wake up tomorrow, really.
exactly, exactly. And then you just catastrophize the rest of the day then, don't
Yeah.
you? And then
Well,
that,
and not only that, I bet you also try and make sure that everybody around you also has a bad day.
yes,
Because
because
I'm
you need
having
to
a bad
share
day,
your
so you're
bad
going to have a
news.
bad day as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to tell everybody what a crap night's sleep you had. I
Yeah.
did that. When I think back on it now, you just think, oh my God. And especially being in an office, right? I mean, I think I'm a fairly bubbly type of person, but not all the time, obviously, because then I'd be a robot. But I remember working in the office environment and you could go in there in a really good mood, and as soon as you say, like, I was in a good mood and I sat next to you and you was like Jimmy Miserable, fun sponge, right? Give
Hmm.
me like, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour. If like say you started going, oh my God, Julie, can't believe they're treating us like da 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 da. And by 20 minutes later you'd be going, yeah, you're right. This is and then you
Yeah.
sucked all the happiness out of someone, right?
Yeah.
So that's really important. People's energy, and that's something I love about all of this now, that that we are an energy, right? Whether we like it or not. And I always say this as well, whether we like it or not, our mind and body is very much connected. So if you decide that you're just going to carry on as you are, ignoring the mind and body connection, then don't be surprised when you start getting stressed, anxious. Don't be surprised when you start getting ill. Don't be surprised when you've got imposter syndrome. Don't be surprised when you're a people pleaser, because all of this is all linked to our wiring, right?
Hmm.
Our subconscious wiring.
Yeah.
And that's why I love what I do, because that's what we're doing. We're going down the neuro pathways, isn't it, to
Yeah.
find what's stopping you from moving forward. And
Hmm.
I do like an analogy, or you're the man of analogies, actually, aren't you? But
Yes.
I always say about, imagine being a hose pipe as well, don't I? Like, you got your kink in the hose pipe
Hmm.
and the water doesn't flow. So it's the same with your energy, right? Until
Yeah.
you remove that kink, your energy can't flow. And when, like, for example, someone says, right, I'm suffering from anxiety, we're trying to find the pipes, we're trying to find the kinks in the pipe. And once we find the kink, we can release it, and then it's not kinked anymore. So therefore your body is not reacting to the things it was reacting to before.
Yeah.
What would you say was the biggest surprise of how you transformed after your session?
I think the biggest surprise was probably in the hypnotherapy session and just some of the things that came out that I'd not thought about. Things that happened to me in probably my teenage years more, the early teenage years that I'd not really thought about for a long, 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 long time. But in the hypnotherapy session, they came straight to the surface
Mm.
almost immediately, and it was almost breathtaking. The fact that you thought, "Oh my God, I can't believe that this silly incident, or what I thought was a silly incident when I was 12 or 13 years old, could still be lurking in my mind for somehow,
Yes,
and it was actually a big thing."
I know. And that's the thing, right? I mean, obviously some people do have like real, real terrible trauma that's happened to them in their childhood, right?
Mhm.
And that obviously we can deal with that too. But generally, most people go, "Oh, I had a really lovely childhood. I don't understand why I'm messed up," right? And same as me, I had a lovely childhood, but I still had limiting beliefs, and same as you, right? And this is the beauty of this. It's going down your timeline, isn't it, to find those key moments and finding the root, the very first time that it kicked in, right? But what we're doing is sometimes you'll remember the scene, sometimes you won't, because remember, our mind's job is to keep us safe, and that's why we can't always remember it in our consciousness, because it doesn't serve us to. However,
Mhm.
even just because we don't remember a trauma, it doesn't mean like consciously remember a
Yeah.
trauma. Our body still remembers it. And I
Yeah.
talk to people like our body is like a filing cabinet. And every time an event happens, we attach beliefs, feelings, and emotions to it and we shove it in the drawer, right? But sometimes that drawer just gets so full, it just bursts open. And that would have been, if we were going to use your losing your job scenario, it wasn't obviously the losing the job scenario is huge, but that was almost like the pinnacle of it, or I don't know if that's the right word, but where your drawer just went, I can't
Yeah.
take it anymore. And
Yeah.
it burst
That was
open.
the straw that broke the camel's back, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a little bit like that when what's that saying about when you come home and you kick the cat or something, and it wasn't anything to do with the cat. It's, I've said that really appallingly, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But in your case, I think your filing cabinet was just bulging and it just couldn't
Mhm.
take anymore. And as much as losing your job obviously wasn't ideal, because that's the same as what happened to me in 2020, but it's about what you do on the back of that, isn't it? Like these things sometimes do happen for a reason. and
Yeah.
it's about finding the good in the bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
And but sorry, I was going off on another tangent there. But going back to what you were saying about how unimportant it really was, that incident, right?
Hmm.
We attach these feelings and emotions, but we also attach a physical reaction to it. And
Yeah.
that physical reaction, so for example, if you're 5 and that's when you first became anxious, and your body created this physical response, say, of, I don't know, heart pounding, dry throat, stomach making you feel sick, right?
Yeah.
That's stored in that filing cabinet. And
Hmm.
your clever mind, when it needs to keep you safe going forward, it will go, oh, hang on. I remember a time when Julie was 5 and this happened and she felt like oh, so I'm going to kick that emotion in. So every time I need to be protected, it will remember when I was 5 and it would kick in that horrible throat, heart palpitation, So every time I'm going to do something like stand on a
Yeah.
stage or go and do an interview or just go into a meeting or meet someone new, whatever
Your body whips out that blueprint and says, "This is how we deal
yeah,
with this."
exactly right. Now, again, going back to what you were saying, right? When we go back and find that incident when you were 5, it's like, oh my days, is that all it was? Oh man, I've been running my life up now, and I think it's worse as you get older, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm running my life on that blueprint, that file in that cabinet that I made a decision when I was 5 that I believed that I wasn't good enough, and no one's going to love me. And now I'm living my life in the future. Oh, okay. So is that why I'm not confident at work then? And I haven't had the confidence to go for that new job, or I haven't had the confidence to break away and do what something I love, or do you know what? When I look back, I've just had a string of terrible relationships. Hmm. Is that because I've got that belief that I'm not lovable and I'm not good enough?
Yeah.
Right? And all the time, in that, because we are an energy, not consciously, remember, subconsciously, we're sending out that vibration of I'm not
Hmm.
lovable, I'm not good enough. So therefore, you're only going to be attracting the people that are not necessarily going to be the right people for you. And when you
Yeah.
look at it like that, it's like, oh, it's quite straightforward, really, isn't it?
Well, it sounds it now, but beforehand, and having been through the process, yeah, I can see how sort of simple it sort of sounds and things like that. But it's not when you're beforehand, when you're lost in those dark woods.
Not, is
It's not
it?
that easy at all. No.
No, no, exactly. And the deep dive session, I mean, as it stands at the moment, right? You've worked with me in what I call one package. So Jim's had the prep session, one deep dive session with the bespoke recording, and then a couple of coaching sessions. So over a kind of like a 3-month period. But
Hmm.
really, the main core of the work's done in that first deep dive session,
Yeah.
where we've basically gone digging, right? So we've gone to really go and find what's the root cause of what's going on to reveal what's there, right?
Hmm.
And then we've kind of desensitized it all, and then we're rewiring it, right? So that's the purpose of the recording, isn't it? Now,
Yeah.
I remember you saying you absolutely loved your recording, and you felt that although the deep dive session was really powerful, the recording part was more so in some respects, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit
Yeah.
about
The deep dive was sort of a revelatory, I think, and then the recording was just a sort of an epic reinforcement of it all, sort of happening every single night. And I think within 2 3 days of it, I could feel the difference during the day. And I think I said to you before, it was like almost like my inner monologue had completely changed. Before, I had this sort of drill instructor internal voice that would scream at me to get up and take the next step and just get through the next day, get on the next train, get to lunchtime, blah 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 blah. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. And it had run its course, and I just wasn't really responding to that anymore. And everything had sort of seized up. And the after listening to the recording, and I did the whole 21 days, and I still listen to it now. It just felt like I had some sort of an inner lining
mm,
that protected me from everything. My inner monologue changed. It felt like I had strength. and it was extraordinary. I mean, it's probably not. I still find it really, really strange the effect it had so quickly now, but it's probably not a surprise to you. But I think I probably said to you in the text at some point,
Yeah,
it's working, and you
it's
said, "Of
working.
course,
I
it's
mean,
working." And I
I
was
know.
like, I know, I didn't mean to doubt. It was just like I'm amazed that the effect it had and so quickly and the difference it's made. It just made me into a completely different person. It turned me around 180 degrees. It was fantastic.
Amazing, isn't it? It is, and that's why it makes me smile all the time because it it's not a lot of time really when you think about it, is it?
No,
Um, it's no time at all, and you could have, you know, and this is a thing, right? And again, as I say, everything's got its place, and sometimes people just want to talk about their thing, and that's enough for them. But for those who are really serious about really getting to the root of what's going on and getting rid of it, you can literally get rid of it straight away. And as soon as we do the deep dive session,
yeah,
um, and then like you say, the recording enhances it. And
yeah,
my other little analogy I always talk to clients about is imagine like you're a shrub in a garden, but you've got loads of weeds around you. Now you can do some work on yourself, you can self-help, you can do other therapies and stuff like that, and you can absolutely 100% trim all those weeds back, right? But the problem is the root's still there. So eventually, once you stop working on it and once you stop living with it, right? Because that's what a lot, CBT and things like that are great, but it just helps you manage it. Why do you
yeah,
need to manage it? Let's get rid of it, right?
yeah,
Because it's a lot
yeah.
of bloody effort managing it.
Uh-huh.
But what we do is we get a shovel and we're going to go and dig out the root, chuck the root away. But of course, as we're doing that, we're taking away negative feelings, negative beliefs, but we're kind of leaving a hole there if we don't fill that hole, right? And that's the beauty of the recording. So I like it into sowing some new seeds and then you're watching those new shoots grow. But these new shoots are like positive. They're, the new you, the new unstoppable you. And because your brain learns by repetition, in the recording, you've got lovely things like, I'm amazing. I'm just so confident. Every day I wake up feeling. Can you remember some of the lines in there? You probably got it
Yeah,
imprinted in your
I
brain.
say it comes to me several times a day. It's almost like it's running on a separate channel inside my brain 24/7, and I can just dip into it as and when I want, and there'll be your voice in my head, and I can sort of right, I come back now. So yeah, I can remember loads of it. I mean, it's there all the time.
And that's what's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, I do have clients say that I send them to sleep, and I'm still trying to work out whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I suppose if you've got sleep issues, it's definitely a good thing, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I was
Well, I
awake.
think we talked about having it running all night and stuff like that because
Yeah,
your brain still takes it in when it's got subconscious and stuff like that. I'm
yeah.
not sure if that worked for me. It was more a conscious thing for me, but yeah,
And it was funny because I was away with a couple of my girlfriends a couple of weeks ago, and we was in the car, and I had to read some instructions out, and I started to read it, and they went, "Julie, stop! You're doing it in your hypnotic voice. I'm trying to drive." Said, "You need to take the next turning on the." No, don't do it like that. Don't do it like that. But yeah, I mean, all joking aside, the purpose of the recording, we say 21 days, but that's the minimum, right? That's because they used to say that it takes a minimum of 21 days to change a habit, but now they're saying it takes a lot longer. So the more you listen to it multiple times a day, the more it will embed. And I know you said this because we're a couple of months down now, aren't we?
yeah,
And he's definitely out of his realms of I've got to do it every day, but
yeah,
it's nice just to pick it up, isn't it? And if you're feeling a
yeah,
little bit flat,
hmm
you
yeah.
listen to the recording, it perks you right up again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like my secret weapon. It's there if anything. Well, not I've had any really bad days since, really, but I mean, I'm sure I will do at some point. But like I say, I'll put it on at night when I'm going to sleep and stuff like that, and just listen to it and just leave it running. And it's but like I say, I don't really need to now. It's sort of running. Feels like it's got its own life inside my head as it is.
And clients like Jim, I just absolutely adore because for me, what gets me up in the morning is knowing that I've helped someone like Jim. The fact that I can literally save lives. I can transform lives, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can help my client do that, I should say,
Hmm.
because it is I can support you and I can guide you and get you in. I need to make sure we do a fantastic session and I need to make sure that I do a fantastic recording for you. So there's a fair bit of pressure, but the more I do it now and the more training I've done, I just go into my intuition now. And when we're in session or something will just click with me and I go,
Yep.
we'll sit there and I think, I'm not sure that's it. I'm not sure. I think there's more to come. And then something, and then or sometimes I've been in situations and I'm like, I don't even know what to say next. Oh my God. And then something just comes, some
Mm.
higher self, some whatever, whether it's my
Yeah.
negative background, I've got no idea. But, and then bang, we're back in and, and I just
Yeah.
absolutely love it.
Hmm.
Absolutely love it. And when I get lovely clients like Jim who are really open to doing one of these interviews, I love that even more because that just gives us the opportunity to let other people know what's possible. And it saddens me when, people are suffering because there is no need to suffer, is there? That's the, you don't have to live with it.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that people have to find funds to do this. And when I'm earning my millions or thousands and thousands a month, I can do my freebies. But at the moment, obviously, I need to pay my bill, right? So, but I do have my group program, which is a very low ticket. I've got my membership program, so there are different levels, and that's the thing. And unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, but when you're on the call with people and they've just told you that they spilled their guts and said, "Oh my God, what's it mean?" And then you go, "Oh, well, actually, it's going to be this amount of money," and it's like, "Oh, okay." And then later on, you find out that they've gone on a cruise or they're doing something else. I do appreciate a lot of people don't have a lot of
Hmm.
money, but there are a lot of people who are spending things that maybe they could alter the way that Jim took the 3 month option, but I also have a 6 month option, which if you really, really want to go deep and I mean, Jim wanted to resolve his anxiety and stress issue, which is absolutely fine. But he knows if he comes back later on, he'll come back and go again, right? So I talk about it being an onion, right? So you're peeling away some layers of your onion. Jim's going to live with that new layer of his onion now. And if he's happy with that, he'll carry on. If later on, in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years, whatever, he feels he needs to carry on, he'll give me a shout. And if I'm still doing it, happy days, right? But which I probably will be because I just love it and whatever. But
Hmm.
the point being, there are levels. I also have a top level, which is for people who really don't have the time to muck about. And I've got one now, a VIP option where you can just spend the whole day with me and we really smash this out the park. And then we have coaching for a couple of months afterwards. But we get it all done because it is quite intense in it, doing like the prep side of it, doing the deep dive side of it, doing the
Mm.
recording. And also I want to teach people different things, which is why I also include my group program in my
Hmm.
packages now so that you've got that additional support as well. And
Hmm.
he knows that he can come and join that at any time as well. So yeah, so all in all, Jim, when you think about where you were when you first contacted me to where you are now, I know you said it earlier on it was night and day, but what can you do now? How do you think? How do you behave
I'm
different?
enthusiastic about any challenges that I've got to face and any problems that I've got coming up. I meet them with enthusiasm rather than a sense of dread, really. I feel like I've got a future. I feel randomly during the day, I just feel happy, which is just really weird just to sit there and be working and suddenly feel euphoric or happy about something. And it's just because of the fact that I don't necessarily think it's because I've got anything to be happy about. I've just not got anything to worry about or feel bad about. And so the opposite feeling that sits there
Yeah.
is happiness. And like I say, to be sitting there at my desk doing tax and accounts, to be sitting there smiling away like an idiot, thinking, I feel really happy. And it's so
Oh,
different for me. And yeah, it's just the lights come on. And like I say, it's just, I feel like such a different person. And yeah, I'm really grateful for everything you've done.
oh, thank you, darling. I'm very, very grateful for you putting your trust in me and investing in yourself. And I'm so, so grateful for you for doing this as well.
My pleasure.
Because that's the best way of giving back, isn't it? When you've
Mm.
experienced something,
Mhm.
you want to scream and shout to other people because life is too short, right? And if you can live your life to the best. And like going back to what we said earlier about if you haven't rewired your subconscious mind, you're making decisions in life based on something, maybe a decision you made when you were 4 years old. Who does that?
Yeah.
We've got CEOs running businesses, we've got heads, honchos running the country, right? And this is scary,
Hmm.
right? When you think that the Prime Minister and all the, ministers who probably haven't done any of this, right, are making decisions for all of us based on decisions they made when they were six.
Well, it explains a lot. It's like their brains haven't developed since they were bloody six, this government. God almighty.
I know. So, I think that's why I want people to think about it, right? And it's also the ripple effect it has on others as well, isn't it? Because you're much more happier, then the people around you will notice, and the way you may have reacted with other people before will be different. So
Hmm.
therefore, they don't react in the same way. It has a real knock-on ripple effect, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing I'd say is it's just, I think it's, I was a sort of fairly normal Essex bloke, fairly brash and things like that, not particularly emotionally sensitive or anything, but it was, it had brought, these things had brought me to my knees. And if you'd have said to my team 2 or 3 years ago that Jim would be suffering from stress and anxiety, they'd probably just said, "What, this guy? Are you serious?" But it can affect anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. It's everybody across the board. So it's, like I say, nobody's immune to it.
No, and that's a
So,
very, very, very good point, actually, because also people can come across confident and
mm,
come across like they're in control. But it's a bit like that swan analogy, isn't it? When at the
yeah.
top they're very calm, but underneath,
Hmm.
and recently for me, even though I do all of this and I know all this and I do my meditation and all that, recently I'd like really suffered with a really bloated belly. And I'm getting really cross about it because it's like I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be, I look honestly, when I looked sideways, I thought I could have been 4 or 5 months pregnant, right? And it's not nice having to wear elastic track coat, like clothes and stuff. Anyway, I decided I wanted to do something about it. So I've embarked working with a nutritionist. She's absolutely adorable. And in her really lovely way, she basically called me out and she said, Julie, do you think you're stressed? I was like, no, I'm not stressed. I meditate and da 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 da. I mean, ignore the fact that I'm spinning multiple plates, right? But that's what I've always done, and that's me in my happy place, right? But she very politely told me that you might not think you are, but this is where you're holding your stress because that's where the cortisol is, and and she's right. She's put me back on the straight and narrow. And there was also it's funny how the universe works actually because and this is the important of being present and listening, right? So I had her in one here saying this. I can't remember what they were now, but there were a couple of other little messages that were coming in going, Julie, I think you need to get a grip. And there was about 3 or 4 of them in the end. And in the end, I went, all right, okay, I'm listening. I've got it. I need to slow down. Right. And as it turned out, I was lucky enough to have a week away in Italy. And oh my God, it was beautiful because I went with my husband and we just spent the whole day, sorry, yeah, every day going, just walking to the beach, sitting on the beach, right? Beautiful. But while I was there, I had some downloads, right? Because I was nice and relaxed, I was chilled. Before I went, there was a few conversations I was having with a couple of my friends about relationships. So that was in my mind.
Hmm.
But before I left, I love an audiobook. I've got loads of audiobooks, but I thought I'll have a look on my bookshelf because I am one I buy a book, but I don't get around to reading it. So I picked up a book and took that as well. So between all the thoughts that and conversations I'd had with the book that I'd read and the audiobooks I was listening to, I had about 3 or 4 different downloads. I had a download about how to change the formula of my identity box now. So that's going to be my new way of talking about it. I got another idea about how I can help people like in relationships. So I had that download, and it was just loads of things that just came into, and I'm like, like sometimes when lots of things, but someone says it in a different way, but somehow it drops differently, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
It's like you probably had a magic teacher at school. You couldn't remember anything
Yeah.
about other subjects, blah, blah, blah. But my history teacher, Mr. Wald at school, I can remember things about the American West and the medical revolution and stuff like this that I've got no right being able to remember just because of the fact that his class, the way he taught,
Way you taught it.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I say to my clients as well, right? I say, like, obviously, I'm banging on about X, Y, and Z. Go and read this book, go and watch that podcast because you will get a different download and then you'll go, oh, I get it
Yeah,
now. That's what Julie's been trying to tell me. Or
yeah, just needed a different angle approach, basically.
yeah, and also when we're at a different level in our life as well, we think about things differently. So the way I download and understand things now is way different to what I would have done a few years ago. And funny enough, I'm doing one of my training programs again with my Rise and Shine because I love Philippa and Bertie. They're my mentors, and I always learn from them all the time. And that's the thing, I've never stopped learning. I've never found anything before that I love so much that I'm like a sponge.
Yeah. Well, in
Right?
our game, we say you're only as good as the last course you went on,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, and it's not always about just doing a course, and a course, is it? It's about embodying what you're
Yeah,
learning.
yeah.
And I was kind of doing these courses and just kind of ticking the box that I've done them, but I wasn't really embodying them and I wasn't being because we're too busy doing. It's about being.
Hmm.
And now I'm in that place where I feel like I'm actually being, and that's when the magic happens. You don't get the brain waves when you're stressed and you're
Mm.
anxious because your brain can't cope already. It's going, oh,
But
don't
it's interesting, though, that even you got caught up in the
oh,
cycle
God,
and
yeah.
you missed it, and you had to have someone point out to you that it was.
God,
So
yeah.
it just shows how easy it is to fall into the trap.
But that's why it's always important to have coaches and mentors, right? And you
Mm.
always choose someone who's at that next level to you. Don't have anyone that's the same level as you or God forbid behind you because you're being inspired by them. So my journey never stops now and yours shouldn't either. You need to
Yeah.
carry on moving forward
Hmm.
and carry on using the tools that you've been taught, the breathing and the rasa
Yeah.
and all of that, and keep moving yourself forward. And
Hmm.
that's the thing, although I do get caught out, I'm getting caught out in the new current version of myself. I'm not caught out in the corporate Julie.
Yeah.
Although chat called me out on that the other day when you're not the lovely girl from corporate anymore. You've got to be an awful, and I was like,
Bloody
"Oh."
hell.
Yeah, like really, really. I did ask. It was truth bomb, but it was about believing what I do, which I truly do believe in what I do,
Hmm.
and charging my worth, and
Yeah.
that's the when you've come from a corporate background. When you don't have to worry about that so much, you just
Mm.
turn up and get paid. Yeah, you do in terms of selling yourself to make sure you're getting the best salary, which I was rubbish at, by the way, back then. But when you're doing it for yourself and you have a call with someone and they say, oh, no, I can't do it. It's like, oh, I thought I'd done all right there. But it's not about that, is it? It's about when you're selling your own, what I'm saying is when you're selling yourself and it's your products, you have to really, really believe in yourself, and it takes a long time to do that.
Yeah. And
Um,
that comes across to the customer as well.
yeah,
But I think for you, you've got a great setup. You've got a comprehensive website. There's a lot on there and stuff like that. So, as a new customer, it's quite easy to sort of see
mm,
the value in it, really.
yeah, brilliant. Thanks for that. And I'm out there on the socials, even though I don't really want to be. But so anyway, Jim, thank you so much for doing this for me today. I really, really
Pleasure.
appreciate it and definitely appreciate any referrals, of course. And yeah, thanks for doing this. It really, really means a lot. And I hope that other people can watch this and get some really good value from it. And if it helps someone else whether it's me or whether it's someone else, it doesn't matter. I mean, ideally, it
Hmm.
might not to be me, but go somewhere else. It doesn't matter, but just fix yourself and stop living your life on old out-of-date beliefs.
Yeah.
Like upgrade your mobile phone and your laptop and PC. So thanks again, Jim, and I look
Well,
forward
my
to
pleasure, and thank you.
and maybe I'll see you again at some point. Who knows when you want to
I'm sure we
really
will.
go to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure
Version.
we'll. I'm sure our paths will cross.
Thanks, darling. Take
All right.
care.
Cheers, Julie. Take care. Bye.